There is a space in my heart where I find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. I see with new eyes, allow and unfold, embrace and let go, trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah, there is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite. Yeah, yeah, when we unite. Yeah, yeah. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. You are welcome here.
I love it. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, wherever you are at this very moment in time. Okay, we're not going to go there. I don't know what's going on. That kind of happens. I feel like I get hijacked. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. And of course, we are grateful that you tuned in to yourself, because by tuning in to yourself, you'll receive exactly what you need today from this show. Because life coach Ade is never going to leave you, but I can't think of a word that rhymes, so I'm just going to leave it alone. That's called hashtag doing too much. But when you tune in, you get to hear what you need to hear. And as you tune in, you listen. So listening and listening that you can't pray, or you can pray and meditate and not listen. You can do that. But if you really want to see the fulfillment of your prayer, of your meditation, of your spiritual practice, you got to listen. You got to go to that still place even. And in that space, you create the perfect resonance vibration to be transformed. That's what it's about. I am Ade, your transformational beingness artist. Welcome to another episode of Being You. Season 3, episode 10. Did I get it right? Yay! I get a star. Being You is all about a journey back to yourself, reclaiming your power, your strength, your identity, the true essence of who you are, which is a discovery, but it's more of a reminder, it's more of a remembering, because there's so much more of you that is invisible. And as you really get to understand who and what you are, you get to realize, I'm already worthy. I deserve all good things. Yes, today's Tuesday, March 9th, 2021. March 9th. Time is doing what time does. It keeps moving. I think really, to be quite honest, I think there's been a major shift in time. And it used to be 45 minutes, right? 45 minutes. What was that about? I have no idea. In a day, we have 24 hours. But breaking news. A whole day now is 12 hours. But the news media haven't put it out there yet. They haven't put it out there yet. It's now, all we got is 12 hours in a day. Do you notice? I don't know if Leslie's looking at me like, what are you talking about? Or you're looking at the connection. But yes, I know a few people, myself included, where we feel like it's just not enough time. And today we're talking about resting. It's like, oh my goodness. So anyway, we invite you to join us on our main page, which is on facebook.com/Being You podcast. That's the main page. We invite you to like and share. And it's a place where you can have a better interactive experience if you have questions, especially if you listen on another platform. And if you're listening on another platform, it's best to be, if you're on another platform, you will hear the conversation. So what I'm saying makes sense. Anyway, let's keep this moving. Facebook.com/Being You podcast. So if you have a question or comment, that's the best place to be. Some of you on my personal page, which is fine. We get to see that. And some of you on YouTube, that's fine too. Anyway, Being You is all about taking a journey within yourself and just sitting with the idea, maybe being a place of being an observer, to look at how you see yourself, how you see the world, how you see yourself in the world, and how you see the world in you. Yes, this is the invitation of love. So some quick announcement. Before I do that, let me say shout outs to all the folks that are in here. And Leslie, what's my connection like? Because I'm seeing some signal there's like stuff is going on. Okay, just bear with the connection, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea what's going on. We just gotta, it is what it is. So if I kind of look like I'm breakdancing, I'm not, but I am now. Tina, woohoo! It's been a while. It's been a long time. I should be saying Happy New Year to you. Nice to see you in the chat room. Quali, nice to see you, my dear sister. Quali said, grand evening and afternoon, Ade, Leslie, Angie, and Mackenzie. That's right. And the Grateful Goddess is in their house. April, nice to see you. New Jace is in their house, and there are many more of you behind the scenes. I call you silent listeners who just listen, don't really come in the chat room because you don't want to be called out, and that's fine too. But anyway, wherever you're listening to this, whether it's live archive, thank you very much. Quick announcement: libsyn.com, libsyn.com. Check it out if you have a podcast, thinking of starting a podcast, or already in the process of starting a podcast. Don't do it without checking out libsyn.com, libsyn.com. I partner with them, so my partnership means you get benefits. I hook up with them and you get the benefits. I don't know, I feel like I'm being used, but that's my mission in here. I'm used by spirit, for spirit. So go to libsyn.com. You can sign up with them. All the information you need is there. Read about it. And if you feel led to sign up with them as a podcast hosting site, make sure you use a promo code, which is just my name, ADE. It's really simple. Use that. So if you sign up today is March 9th. If you sign up today, you will get the whole of March free and the whole of April free. However, do not sign up on the first of the month. If you sign up on the first of the month, you may have 1 minute free. Always sign up from the second of the month, or halfway through. It just means you get the rest of that month free, and then the second month. If you sign up on the first, you're not going to get 2 months free. But it really doesn't matter. You can sign up whenever you want. Just want to let you know. I hook up with my friends, and you get the benefit. That should be a slogan. So I'm really your friend, but you get the benefit. Anyway, moving right along, every Wednesday evening, well, if you're in America anyway, and Thursday morning in the UK, join myself and my dear sister friend, Ricky Byers, soulful songs and conversations. That's every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UK time. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out the archives and join us. It's a great place. You get to hear stories. We never know. I mean, we do plan the show, we produce it, we come together, but something glorious happens. And then Ricky tells stories about her song, how it came about. And if you know Ricky Byers, then you know the songs. It's just something about hearing the song, the stories that inspired it. And sometimes some of the stories of her being really challenged. Anywho, I got to keep this moving along. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and this is the month. Oh, yesterday was March 8th. This is Women's History Month. So yeah, as always, I acknowledge you, women, ladies, all of you for all you do in the world, for your loving compassion, your ability to keep pushing forward, and Black women who don't get enough props. My heart goes out to you. And yeah, there's so much more we can say about that, but we won't right now, maybe next week. That's right. Hook up with my friends and you get the benefit. That's just the kind of person I am. Thank you, Tina, for typing that out so I could see it. And speaking of women and honoring women and celebrating women, so my guest is Mackenzie Edwards. And 2 days from now is her birthday, February 11th. So just join me in wishing her happy birthday. Earth Day, March 11th. Did I say March 11th? I meant February 11th. Is it February 11th? Oh, I'm totally confused now. So it is March 11th. Yes, it is. It is February 11th. Yes. All right. Which one is it? Tell me what it is. Sometimes I've been moving so fast, I don't even hear my own self. It's March 11th. Yes, because she's Pisces, of course. That's it, I think. Anyway, happy birthday in advance. I don't know why I kept saying March. February. Boy, what would I know? I know. I feel the same way. It's like, what's going on? So thank you for having my back. Oh boy, life is good. It's getting better. So we're getting ready to bring on Mackenzie. We are truly, thank you, Tina, for having my back. We are truly in an altered state of reality. We are definitely in that state. I am. Anyway, I'm telling you, I know I am. All right, it's time to jump into the conversation. Lots to say, lots to share. Mackenzie's here. Oh, it works out when I don't think about it. But when I try and think about it, it just gets all messed up. Anyway, so Mackenzie's not here live with us, but we did a pre-recording with her. And we're talking about resting to receive. The sister was bringing it. We're going to go right on into it now. And somewhere kind of towards the end of the show, get ready to experience what we talked about. So I'm just going to send it over to life coach Ade to do what he does best. Let's do that. Yes, my guest today is Mackenzie Edwards. Mackenzie Edwards is a sacred space holder. As a spiritual wellness educator and leader, she facilitates and guides others through meditation, yoga, and mindfulness practices to connect back to the wholeness of who they are. With a master's degree in theology and the arts, she studied multiple spiritual disciplines and ancient religious and mystic practices. In addition, she is a certified meditation and yoga teacher. I knew that. Mackenzie brings all of this knowledge and experience to each of her sessions and utilizes multiple healing modalities as a way to invite her students to remember who they are. She believes in the saying and is living proof that change does not come from the outside. Change comes from the inside. Just breathe that in and feel that. Change does not come from the outside. Change comes from the inside. From within, even. Same thing. Inside, within, same thing. You can find out more about what she's doing, what she's creating by going to her Linktree link, which is Linktree, for those of you who don't know. Yes, it is intentional. I love my producer. She keeps me in check and make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I appreciate that. So you can find Mackenzie by going to her Linktree link, which is Linktree. For those of you who don't know, if you don't know, Linktree is link, LINKTR .ee. So that's LINKTR.ee/Mackenzie _E. I'll spell that for you. That's MAKENZ. And for those of you in UK, Z _E. MACKENZ And you can also find her on Instagram, which the same handle, Mackenzie _E. If not, just Google her. I'm sure she's Googleable. Or just connects to inside your guidance. It's all on the screen. You can find it there. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, psychics and skeptics, physical beings and non-physical beings, help me welcome my friend, my sister, myself, Mackenzie Edwards. Hey, Mackenzie.
Hello. How are you, Ade? So good to see you.
Wonderful. Good to see you too. Thank you for being here. You know, I got so much I want to talk to you about, reading your bio, but first of all, let's start from the beginning. How are you doing? How's your day? What are you creating? Well, how's your day and how are you navigating this new times that we're in?
I'll tell you this much. I don't even, when people ask me, how are you? How's your day? How are you doing? I typically say, in this moment. That's how I'm navigating this. I literally have to just take things moment by moment, sometimes even breath by breath, because otherwise it's too much. It is a lot. There's a lot that we are all dealing with, engaging with, and all trying to work through. And so in this moment, because I'm here connecting with you, connecting with everyone else, I'm doing great in this moment.
That's good to know. And the good thing about it is what you're feeling this moment does create the next moment. So even if things shift, you've planted the seed of being well connected. So when things go, whoa, there's that anchor, right?
Yeah.
And there's so much in that. We're going to talk more about that. We're talking about resting to receive. If you rest in this moment, you receive everything you need to receive when the next moments get kind of crazy.
That's right. That's right.
So the first thing, well, not the first thing, but in my head, it just sounds good. The first thing we want to do is, so the whole idea of being you is about inviting people, reminding people to connect with themselves, to really understand who they are, which is kind of similar to what you're about, right? Reminding people who they are. And for me, I see our names as a reflection of our soul signatures, the energy of who we are. And some people don't particularly like their name, so they change it. So I want to ask you your names, name, if you want to tell us the meaning of your last name too, Mackenzie Edwards. What does it mean, or what does it mean to you?
Yes. So Mackenzie, I believe the definition is born of fire and born of a wise leader. So that's, it's a Gaelic name, I guess. My parents, chose it, gave it to me. There's no one in our family with the name Mackenzie, but that's the name that they gave me. And I like that idea, like fireborn, born of fire, because those who know me, they would say that I at times can have quite a fiery personality. But also, as I've grown more into who I am being called to be and the gifts I am being called to give, when we think about the element of fire, right? The element of fire is that of light. It creates light, in the darkness. So opening us to things we might not have been able to see before. The element of fire is also that of warmth, right? The heat from the fire and from the embers also for, be it physical or, even mental, this idea of creating space to be warmed. And the last thing I'll say about the element of fire is, there's all these different rituals with fire, cleansing rituals, write down on a piece of paper something that you are needing to release, to let go, that no longer serves. But don't just write it down and then throw it away. Write it down and then go ahead and put it in the fire, right? So that the fire, the element of that fire can burn the paper, burn the idea, that it can be released up with the embers and let go of. So I'm like, wow, if I am born of fire and those are all the different attributes and elements and, different gifts that fire can give us. And I'm sure, many more other people can, add on to, fire also does this. And fire
right. And did you know?
Yeah.
But what scientists don't tell you, it's like, yeah, we get it. There are 8 billion definition of what fire can do. We all have our own definition. And the other thing that you're saying with the letters, when people write like forgiveness letter or something, they release them, is really what you're saying is this idea of transformation. It transforms. So I wonder if when people come into your space, whether as friends, as clients, there's going to be some transformation happening.
I mean, at the beginning of any of my sessions, I always say that my goal, that my hope is for them to have space to connect back to their breath, to connect back to their body, and to connect back through their truths. And to remember their divine inherent truths, that as we're navigating our day-to-day, we can so often, forget when we're just trying to hustle, just trying to get by, just trying to do what needs to be done. And so I hope that there is some sort of transformation that is taking place. And from, the responses back and messages back that people have sent me and shared with me, it sounds like, that there is an element of transformation that is happening for them.
I love the modesty, but with a name like that, of course, of course there's a transformation. Kind of like, no, say it. Yeah, I see it. I know it. I feel it. Now, the other part of your name, what did you say? You said something about a leader, right? A wise leader. Is that what you said?
Born of a wise leader.
Mm-hmm.
And
so born of a wise leader. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so for me, you shared that I did a master's in theology, right? And so that which for me is leading, my life, and that which I, connect to is the divine. Mm-hmm. So of course, not only am I born of a wise leader, the divine, mm-hmm. God, whatever you want to name, that higher power, that higher being, that allows us to connect back to our intuition, our inner voice, our, the spirit within us. Mm-hmm. So yeah, born of a wise leader, so that I too can bring that wisdom, share that wisdom, mm-hmm. With others.
So if I was to rewrite your bio, I'd just say she is a wise leader who brings transformation. So yeah, I'll get your shit together.
I receive. That's something that I've been working on getting better at when people offer such gracious compliments. Be like, oh, thank you. But now I'm like, no, I receive.
That's it.
So I receive. Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel you. And that could take us in a whole different conversation. I mean, I like to dance with my guests, but we'll stay on the rhythm of what we're creating. Actually, before we talk about resting to receive, because I want to, how do you see it? How do you define it? What does that look like? You describe yourself, speaking of a wise leader who brings transformation. You also describe yourself as a sacred space holder. Tell us more about that.
Yes, a sacred space holder. For me, something that is sacred is something that is set apart, right? Mm-hmm. When we think of the sacred, we think of not just every day, but something different, something set apart, something that differentiates between the norm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what I want to invite people to remember when they come to my classes is that they can connect to the sacredness of who they are at any time. The space that I'm holding, yes, that is a sacred space because they're giving themselves permission. They're giving themselves, the opportunity to come, to sit, to be still, to remember, to connect back to their inner wisdom. But then my goal is to help them to remember that they have what they need inside of themselves at all times, so they can, yes, while in this moment, this is a sacred space that we're gathering together to acknowledge it, the sacredness is within you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So much comes up for me as I listen to you. I'm sure you probably heard this whole thing about being a healer. I think, having lived in America for, better part of 25 years, I feel like people are more accepting of the word healer. There's still some people like, who's a healer? Who said you're a healer? There's some people who abuse that title for whatever reason. Here in the United Kingdom, people are a little more like, I'm not a healer. It's like, okay, whatever. But one of the things for me that when I share with people what a healer is, for me, a healer is someone who creates the space energetically for people to come into themselves. And we can all do it.
Yes.
But each cell has its own function in the body. Cells in the human body, they have their own function, and they could, they bring about health. But there are those of us who, that's our unique signature. That's what we're here to do. So there are ways like with the work that you do, the work that I do, where there's a sort of commitment, a responsibility to what we're here to do. So whether that's daily spiritual practice, reading, whatever we do, I see it as for me when I come, it's like I'm like a spiritual air freshener. You know, just like, whoo, I show up,
Yes.
ooh. And it's not even about me because now they're free to see themselves as a spiritual air freshener. Or they can see, oh, so I'm the one that's got that funk. I thought it was the person next to me. So in the space that is created, they can sort of like, oh, I know it's something that I need to let go of. It's just there's somebody I haven't forgiven. I'm kind of, whatever we're dealing with, but there's as a healer, a space holder creates a space for people to come back to themselves.
Yes.
And I think there's in the metaphysical community, spiritual community, we sometimes make it difficult and challenging because we think like coming back to who I truly am is I got to find that place where I'm just peaceful and blissful. But sometimes coming back to who I am in this moment could be like, yeah, I'm flipping pissed off about that argument I had last night. And it's all good. What do you think about that? This idea of coming to oneself in the moment.
Yeah, no, we are seeing a lot of, toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing, right? That you're just talking about. Everything's, airy fairy and wonderful and marvelous. My goal and my hope is to create space for people to sit with where they are, acknowledge what's coming up for them, and for that to be okay. One of my favorite practices leading people in my classes is to see what emotion or feeling or whatever is coming up for them in that moment, whether that's anger, frustration, annoyance, joy, happiness, peace, bliss, whatever it is. Notice it and say, in this moment, I feel blank. And then as they breathe out, say, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right. Coming back to who you are does involve maybe working through some of the layers of what people will call our shadow side, right?
Yes.
Working through some of our samskaras in Yoga Nidra, call it, right? These stories that we continue to play in our head based off of actual lived experiences, where maybe we experienced harm or we experienced small t or big T trauma, but now that's what we're the lens we're only looking our life through, right?
Yeah.
So creating that space to come back and say, okay, is this, while that may have been true then, is this my truth now?
That's right. That's right.
And seeing what needs to be released, what needs to be honored, what needs to be named, and what needs to be acknowledged so that it can be healed, so that it doesn't, hold the power over you, over your life, and over everyone else, right? Because if we're not doing our own work, it is not just affecting us, but it's affecting everyone we interact with. It will affect our lineage down the line. It affects a lot. So
yeah, I'm thinking of something that Iyanla Vanzant would say. I think it's something. I think I'm paraphrasing, but something like, if you don't heal your pain, you will bleed all over everybody else.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people that we see sometimes, even out of the intention of being helpful, they're bleeding all over the place.
Yes.
I can watch some people sometimes, and they feel like, oh, they're giving a different perspective. I'm like, why do I feel the way I feel? I'm not inspired. I gotta go. I'm out. But yeah, it's all part of the process. And for me, I think that's that journey back to self, being you. There's a lot that comes with it, and for me, I like to create space in my work. It's allowing people to be with what is, which is what your work is about. And being with what is, it requires us or invites us to get still, to rest, So let's talk about rest. Resting to receive is the theme. I have an acronym that I use when it comes to rest is release every stressful thought. Because sometimes rest is you get rest or get stressed, right? It's like, okay, thank you. But
you get stressed and you don't feel your best. Yes.
Oh, okay, let's go. Let me see. Oh, I caught me off guard. Oh, I choked on my own show. Mackenzie! Let's talk about rest and resting. What does rest mean to you? What does it look like? Is it just about sleeping? Is it about taking time away going for a walk? Or how do you see it?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the pandemic, panorama, pandemonium, whatever you're calling it,
pandemic.
But at the beginning of it, like many people, I was experienced high levels of anxiety, high levels of stress, right? And for me, it was about the unknown. I realized and recognized that for me, it was about having this sense of a loss of control, of just feeling unsure and scared and stressed and worried. And I really started deepening my yoga nidra meditation practice then. I had done yoga nidra before, which yoga nidra is yogic sleep. My first ever yoga nidra experience was with Tracy Stanley, an absolutely beautiful and amazing meditation. I can't even call her like a meditation teacher because she's just one of those people that exudes love and just she is a being of light. I don't know what else to say, but anyway.
She's another spiritual air freshener, right?
Yes,
she comes in and you're like, ooh.
Yes, yes. And so, yes, my first practice with her pre-pandemic, and then doing the self-inquiry and inner voice work that she invited us to do after the nidra, the meditation part I was like, oh wow, this is such a beautiful practice, and it's so simple in that in this practice you're just invited to simply lie down, to rest, to let go. It is a practice of letting go, and like I said, it's called yogic sleep because the brain waves moves through wavelengths similar to that when you are sleeping, similar to that when you're resting. So you're conscious, you're awake, but in this yogic sleep state. So that was such a beautiful and powerful practice for me the very first time I had the opportunity to do yoga nidra. And then my yoga nidra teacher, who I did my yoga nidra teacher training with, started offering classes, and I just noticed such a difference during the beginning of the pandemic. I noticed such a difference in my body, in how I felt, and how I was able to interact and engage from doing these yoga nidra sessions. And I remember sitting there, I had been doing, a few sessions a week. And one day, just like all of us, I was going down that loop of, oh my gosh, like what is going on? And when is this going to end? And what does this mean? And is my family going to be okay? And what am I supposed to be doing right now? And how am I supposed to be showing up to, be offering ways to help others to rest and to heal, and just all the questions. And stuff with work was all up in the air. And so I took a moment and took a deep breath and, placed my hand on my heart center and closed my eyes and just asked, my intuition, my inner voice, who, like I said before, I believe is the divine, is God. What am I supposed to be doing right now? And the message I received back was rest to receive. And I thought, okay, that's not the answer I was looking for, because it didn't even make sense, right? And especially as someone who my whole life I have been conditioned that in doing is where, we find our worth. And doing is where things get done. In acting and in action and all of that. And so to receive the message that you'll receive what you need, you will be taken care of, all will be well when you rest, was okay. That's I'm open. And that prompted me to dive even deeper in my resting practices and resting rituals. So for me, resting rituals, yes, it does look like doing yoga nidra, meditation. For me, resting also looks like doing yin yoga and restorative yoga. So not the traditional vinyasa flow yoga, but yoga styles where you're literally resting in the poses, sometimes for 5 to 10 minutes. A lot of these poses, yes, but I'm gonna let me give you
because it's 2 minutes in the pose. My whole body's like, okay, it's like take it down. I can't go any further right now.
Let me give you the add-on. But these poses are often poses. They're not inversions. They're not balancing poses. These are resting poses where you're often on the ground using props like a bolster or using blocks to help hold the body so that the body can rest. The body can release, so that the body can relax and let go. And we hold a lot of emotions and energy in our hips and even in our spine. And so these poses are specific to creating space for the release of that. And so taking yin yoga and restorative yoga and teaching yin yoga and restorative yoga, those are also rest rituals for me. Additional rest rituals for me is, yes, taking naps. I love to take naps, especially at the beach. I call them beach sleeps. There's nothing like, yes, being at the beach, hearing the waves and the water. Yeah, okay, fine, sure. But you don't find that loud. I don't know what kind of beaches you're going to, but beaches that I'm at, the seagulls aren't that.
They're not allowed. Stop it and then just make a U-turn. Sorry.
But yeah, something about having that sun, hearing the waves, and just taking a little mini nap, a little beach sleep. That is one of my favorite rest rituals. And then as well too, I share with people, rest, yes, sometimes it is being still, but what does it also look like to rest or be in a meditative state when you're doing the dishes, when you're gardening, when you're going for a walk? Right? For me, rest is, where's a moment for me to either release and let go, or where is there a moment for me to connect back to my breath, to slow down, just to take a moment and to become present in, the current moment. So yes, there's a variety of rest rituals, and that's what I feel like we're all being called to do, because the only way we're going to make it And to continue to go through this and everything that we've been experiencing is to incorporate, not even incorporate, but is to prioritize
Yes.
some sort of rest rituals and rest practices.
So you've mentioned, I think, like 3 different types of yoga that you teach. And when I think of the yoga nidra, and you said you call it yogi sleep. I'm like, if I do that, I know I'll be sleeping. And my mind went to, I'm sure there are a lot of people in there snoring away. And you just, I can imagine.
I tell people, if you fall asleep during the meditation, yeah, you're lying down. I'm like, because that's what your body needed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're still giving your body, you're still giving yourself what it needs. And other times, and this has happened for myself too, you might be going in and out during the meditation where, you know, you're hearing the guidance, you're listening, and then you just kind of like zone out, and then you come back again and you're hearing it again. And so I've had my students tell me, they're like, it seemed like I was going, you know, kind of in and out, but at the end, they were able to come back out. And so I'm like, your body, again, your body was receiving exactly what it needed. You were still able to follow along, because that's what that meditation is. It's just following along the guidance of the instructor through the different breath awareness, through the different body awareness and visualizations, to bring them into a state that shifts them from that sympathetic nervous system, right? That fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, into the parasympathetic nervous system of rest and digest. Because it's in that state that we're able to hear. It's in that state of rest that we're able to feel and to remember. And so that's why I believe, you know, it was, you'll receive when you rest.
Yeah.
Because you can't hear anything when you're just go, trying to figure out, trying to make sense of everything up here. It's when you come back here that you're able to remember those truths, to receive what you might need to know, to do for that next step.
Yes.
And then the next, and then the next, and then the next. The other night, I needed to be working on something and completing it, but I did not have the energy to do it. I did not want to do it. I was not interested in doing it. Like, I was just, it had already been a long day. And so I asked my intuition and I said, you know, what am I, okay, I'm supposed to do this, you know, I don't have the energy. I don't want to do it. You know, what should I do? And I felt my intuition said back to me, do what brings you joy. So that's not the question that I asked.
It's like, listen,
what am I supposed
if you're going to give me guidance, can you give me what I can use?
Yes. What am I? And so then I said, you know what? Well, in this moment, what's going to bring me joy is eating some dinner. Now it's 7:00. And, you know, putting on a show that makes me laugh, something silly, something whatever, just to have my mind have a break. And then I said, okay, do that. And then in an hour, check back in with yourself and see what's going to bring you joy in that moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Because again, our mind will sit here and tell us, do, work, figure it out, make it happen, push, go, don't stop, struggle. And I'll tell you what, after I took that time for myself, doing what would in that moment bring me joy, the information that I needed, that I didn't have the energy prior to figure out, I remembered where I had placed it. So it wasn't going to have to be me trying to remember and create something. I was able to go and find something that I had from 3 years ago. That was the information that I needed. So it just, yes, tapping into what brings us joy, tapping into taking the moments of rest. I literally, truly do believe that's when we're able to receive.
Yeah. There's so much that you shared that I feel like if I even try and go on some of those, we'll end up somewhere else. But I want to just present this to our audience. It's like, to ask yourself, what are some of the things you do for rest? Do you rest? Do you see rest as being lazy? Do you say, I don't have time for rest? I got too many things to do. I got kids to take care of, got to go to work. I don't even have time. I wish I had time to rest. Share your comments, share your thoughts. But the truth is, so there's a part of me that I'm kind of fighting right now. If you don't rest, you ain't getting, you ain't gonna receive nothing. And you probably will. We always, well, let me say it this way. The things that we need, that we want, that we desire is always available.
Yes.
Is in that rest stage that we get to hear it.
Yeah.
And when it comes, it's often simple. Like you said, it's like rest to receive. That's not what I want to hear. Well, do what brings you joy. No, you don't understand. I got a task that I don't enjoy. I don't want to do. I know I'm coming to ask you, but you're telling me do what brings me joy. It's so simple that we miss it. But in that state, when we come back to the self, when we come back to our bodies, the body knows. The body knows how to digest the food that we take in. The body knows how to heal itself. The body knows how to replenish it. So, of course, there's deep wisdom in the body that when we rest, we can access it. And I feel like, we are, it's always been, but I think things are just getting turned up. It's like being on a stove. There's a phrase where they say a frog in a boiling water or something, like where, I know it's kind of crazy analogy, but there's this idea of a frog being in water and the water is boiling at the beginning, just kind of warm. And after I stopped there because it gets kind of graphic. But anyway, Mackenzie's like, I'm not going there with you. A frog boiling water. I'm not doing this.
But yeah, exactly. I know.
But is that an idea? Because if the frog decides to rest and say, it's getting kind of hot in there, put its little fingers on his and say, what am I to do? And the voice might say, hop out. Some of us don't hop out of the mess, and we end up getting boiled and hot and traumatized because we're like, this is ridiculous. Why is my supervisor turning the heat up? I just can't stand. No, maybe you just need to. Okay, this mother father is getting on my nerves, but what is mine to do right now? Like, hop out, get out. And it's rest is so underrated.
Yes.
Because we think it's children. We know what children are like when they don't get their nap. They're, I know what's wrong. They didn't get their nap, so they're cranky. But somehow we think that bypasses us. And, for me, I shared earlier about the releasing every stressful thought. Sometimes you just cannot release the thought by thinking to release stressful thought. Thinking to release the stressful thought actually makes you more stressful.
Yeah.
What else do I have to think? Well, how do I release this thought? Because sometimes it's just going for a walk. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, as you're saying, for me, sometimes you just go take a nap. My body would tell me. It's like, dude. And I am actually in this new place now where I'm getting better listening differently because I've developed this habit over the years of my life that somehow I believe that I'm supposed to push through when I'm tired. Mm-hmm. And then the voice would say, ain't you the one telling people to rest when things get hectic? And what is your hips doing on the computer? Like, gotta really do this. Like, okay. And sometimes I do fight it. Like the answer's calm is so clear, but based on the conditioning and what we're trying to achieve, we still fight it. And I think that's why spiritual practice like this. I want to talk more about the yoga nidra, but I want to talk more about meditation. I want to talk about rest. I have some other questions. So what I'm going to do is, if you want to know what yoga nidra is, go to Mackenzie's Instagram page, slide into her DMs, just because you want to learn. You want information that can help you. That's all I'm saying. Don't go anyway. Mackenzie, let me spell it for you. MACKENZ_E. You can find out more about what she does. Now, what are some of the misconceptions about yoga and meditation that you that you I believe you're committed to kind of demystifying that.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many.
Where do I start? You said.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, So I'll say this. I took my first yoga class, I want to say it was 17 years ago. And was practicing on and off different styles over the years. And then maybe it was, what year are we in? We're in 2021 now. I don't know if anyone else's memory is like, but mine definitely. So maybe it was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I started really deepening and having my yoga practice, be a lot more consistent. And I think for me, when I started doing that and when I started to hear and receive things during my practice, that was when I was like, oh, this is so much more than just, oh, let me, do these poses to show how flexible I am, or let me do these balancing poses to see how amazing I can do X, Y, and Z. No, yoga means union.
Yes.
So it is based on being a spiritual practice. And when we think about union, you can think about union connecting you back to you, connecting you back to God, connecting to the truths of who you are, whatever that union, is and looks for you. But it started manifesting a lot more in my life. And so for me, it became another spiritual practice, just like meditation, just like time in silence and stillness, to pray, it just became another avenue for me to connect back to myself, slow down, and hear from the divine. Growing up, so two things that I want to kind of demystify. Growing up in Christian family, Christian household, and Christian community, I know that there is fear around yoga and it being, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I really shouldn't laugh because I've even
it is funny. I mean, it's funny to you, right?
I shouldn't laugh because I have had family members say to me, like, Mackenzie, like, I'm so confused. Like, you're doing
messing with the devil.
Do you even believe in God? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah. And I know that that's because the information that they're receiving is not true to what yoga is. And so when I've had the opportunity to explain that yoga is just an additional spiritual practice for me to connect to the divine, and I have received, literally received, messages and truths and healing personally from this practice, from sessions that I've done, I can't deny that it isn't a way to connect to the divine. That's what it is for me. It is a practice. It is not, yoga is not my God, but it is a practice that helps connect me back to God. So that's one that I want to demystify. And I know everyone has their own journey and their own understandings and beliefs and theologies around, whether or not it's appropriate to yoga. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing that I want to demystify around yoga and around meditation, I always say meditation is for everyone. And I believe that to be true about yoga. For many people, when we think of, I shouldn't even say we, because that's not what I think of when I think of yoga, but for many people, when they think of yoga, for a yoga teacher, they think of a thin, blonde-haired, wearing yoga pants and their
Because that's what we see online. You Google yoga teacher, first 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. Like, come on now, there's gonna be black people doing yoga, and you have to type black people, black yoga teacher. I get
frustrated. Yoga is not even originally a Western practice.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Let's come back. Trust me, I can go there with you. I can go there with you. And thank God for, what's the sister's name? Is it Jasmine? A black woman who is heavy set. And I think, is it Jasmine? Let's just see if you can find. I think it's Jasmine.
Yeah, I think on social media it's like Jasmine or something like that. I know who you're talking about. And
she just like demystifying all that BS. Yes. Like, no.
Yes. Because again, union is for everyone.
Hello. God is everyone. God is for everyone. You can connect to God no matter if you're thin or black or brown or if you're Muslim, Christian. It's anyway, go ahead.
Yes. So that
I'm trying not to go on a tangent, so you keep talking.
No, it's okay. But that was another thing that, again, I think especially, for the Black community, that this idea of yoga is I'm trying to take care of what I need to take care of. I don't have time to be going and stretching and listening to whoever try and tell me to come back to my chi and this and that and whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's important for me to, with the certifications and trainings that I do, create space specifically for Black folks, specifically for the Black community. That's why I do my Black women Wellness Wednesdays classes, and prior to that, I was doing my I was doing my Women of Color Wellness workshop, doing exactly that, demystifying what meditation is, demystifying what yoga is. A certain demographic should not have a monopoly on a healing modality that can bring us back to ourselves. And I think it's just there needs to be space where there's an opportunity to truly feel safe too, because that's the other thing too, right? When you're going to these studios and you're the only person that looks like you, and it doesn't necessarily always feel safe. It doesn't necessarily always feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. So it's important for me to teach my community and the community at large in understanding that meditation is for everyone, that yoga is for everyone. And that's, I think, also too why I really enjoy the yin yoga and restorative yoga. It doesn't have to be this vinyasa flow, one arm balance,
balancing your pinky.
It can be these really restorative poses where you get to just come and release and rest, and where that emotion, in the body, that there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score, is able to have that space, that time, that room to release. So yes, yoga and meditation is for everyone, and you can be literally any religion and have any, theology and practice yoga as another spiritual practice to connect you to the divine.
And thank you, Leslie. So the sister that I'm thinking about, her name is spelled Jessamyn, Stanley. So I don't know if it's Jasmine, I don't know, but it's Jessamyn, Stanley. And, I think for people who don't fit Black women, who got their own shape and curve that I believe is beautiful. I always think when God created a Black woman, God was like, wait, let me see. It's like, ooh, look at that. I know I get in trouble for saying that, but I've been saying it too. Off air, I'm saying it today. But anyway, I digress. Hey, I have the right to have my own opinion. God is like, damn, that's my best word. Okay. Right,
I agree. I
concur. So many things. We did a show called The Whiteness of Spirituality. And I think things like yoga, meditation, and spiritual practice, it's almost like we need to have a conversation about decolonizing spirituality. and especially for those people of color BIPOC community where, you Google. Even one of the things that I find frustrating now is using GIFs on my phone, something mundane, and all you see most of the time is just white people. White people are not the only people on this earth, and it's like, come on, and you have to say, I won't put too much of my business out. A black person, blah blah blah, because you can find it's crazy, and I get frustrated sometimes. But what I do when I find yoga teachers on YouTube, I always subscribe to them so that way I can get more of their videos. But what I haven't done yoga nidra, I think I saw the first time I heard about it was even on your page on Instagram, and I'm thinking, so you just do yoga and go to sleep? So we're not gonna go back. What we're actually gonna I want to know more about that. Do you have any videos on YouTube, or is that something that you're working on?
Who knows? Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Now I've put it out there. I receive. It's coming. So I want to ask.
I do have meditation videos on my Instagram, on my IGTV, so people can go to that. Okay.
You're sharing so much. I feel like there's so many things I want to get to, but it's like I'm trying to squeeze all of it in before we release this conversation. But I want to talk about the importance of rest for women and Black women. Because women are conditioned to serve others, to take care of everybody, to be a caregiver. And in the world that we live in now, where there's so much going on, and a Black woman seeing her brother, her husband, her uncle and aunt being shot, or seeing her sister being shot, and women are sort of, you all have this ability to keep moving on in spite of. And there are women who just feel like I can't stop. My children's life depends on me moving forward. There's too much going on. I gotta fight. I gotta be part of the cause because there's so much going on. What is your message, or what tools do you share? Particularly, let's just stay with Black women in this case, because there's a lot going on, and it's easy to not hear Black women until the things that Black women are talking about is now spoken through a white woman, kind of like the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement didn't come through the actor. I can't even remember. Is it? I can't remember the name. It really doesn't matter. But it was until white women were talking about the Me Too, and then it became this big news.
Right.
But in a kind of crazy kind of way, it did bring visibility to, and I can't remember the sister who came up with it now. I can hear her name in the back of my head.
Janana Burke? I don't know if I'm saying
that's it. That's her. Yes, exactly. So what is your message for Black women when it comes to resting?
Yes. So in 2016, after the Alton Sterling and Philando Castile murders, I thought to myself, we've been knowing, as Black folk, that this isn't anything new. For whatever reason, those two back to back, at that point, and prior to that, it was Sandra Bland. Prior to that, it was, Trayvon Martin. So many Black folk who had their lives taken from them. So I, as a creative person, I thought, what can I do? I received the message to create an evening where people could come and listen to the experience of Black America through narratives, storytelling, the arts, mixed media, visual art, etc. And so I think I've created and put together events and different things before. So this wasn't my first one, but I threw it together in about 2 weeks. About 100 people came. For those who were Black afterwards coming up to me saying, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I feel so affirmed. I feel so seen. I feel in ways that I haven't ever been. And then non-Black folk were coming up and saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know, I had no idea. And these were people that I was friends with and had been friends with for years. And so I'm like, okay, because where is there space? Not let's have a dialogue, not let's, have a panel. No, where's there just space for people to sit and listen?
Yes.
So I actively did that for 2 years. After that first one, people said, please do another one. So we did, an encore. And then after that, different universities and churches started reaching out to me saying, hey, we want to come and host you guys to share with our community. So I did that for a couple of years, but it was a lot. And I don't think what I realized at the time is that I was re-traumatizing myself every time I was putting on these events and showing these videos of the harm happening. Because one, I invited, there were 5 different speakers, 5 different artists, and I invited them to speak to their experience in being Black in America, and then use some sort of artistic avenue after they shared what they shared for people to sit in, for people to rest in what they just received, right? Because we can hear up here, but what are you feeling here? And there were visuals and videos. And so when I say I didn't realize it till later that yes, it was a great avenue for those that needed to listen and learn, but it was also like, I think the language for it came up later, like as like trauma porn, as a way to educate others. I'm continually having to see, and I'm continuing having to tell my story of all the harm that has been caused to me because people refused to see me as, human, like that. Re-remembering of that, bringing up all those emotions and those feelings and the pain of all of that, it just became a lot. And so that really, after, kind of doing that for about 2 years, I thought, the people that are coming up to me telling me they feel affirmed, they feel the Black folk, that they feel seen, that they feel acknowledged in ways that they hadn't before, I'm like, that's where I want to shift my energy. I want to shift it into creating more spaces of healing for Black folk to feel seen. And so that's when I started doing, I dug deeper into my certifications and then started doing my, Women of Color Wellness Wednesdays and additional classes, just specifically holding space for Black healing and specifically for Black women, because you're exactly right. Yes, we are alchemists. Yes, we can take that pain, that trauma, the anger, the sadness, the frustration, and turn it into an event and turn it into, what I mean? Where others are able to receive or turn it into, poetry and turn it into song and turn it into dance and all of these things. But where is there space for us just to rest? Where is there space for us just to be?
Yeah.
And so just realizing that I wanted to shift the work that I was doing around the pain, around the harm, to creating a healing space, that was something that was a non-negotiable for me. And the Black women so I started doing those in 2018, I believe. And I've been holding some sort of special, sacred spaces for Black women and femmes specifically since then. And just even in the last session that I did last Wednesday, afterwards, as different people were sharing, because we'll do a share at the end, it was just communicated like there aren't very many spaces in the world where you can just show up as you are and just be. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but it's something that I think that a lot of other people take for granted, that they get to just be in spaces where other people, you know, they're seen, they're heard, they're known, their experience is known. And so, yes, for Black women and femmes, having sacred spaces where we can just show up and be, where we can just show up and exhale, where we can just show up and rest is imperative. And yes, there's the kids, and yes, there's the, you know, trying to hold the family together and, you know, be the perfect wife and be the perfect you know, employee and be the perfect, or not even perfect, but just be the, you know, live up to the expectations that
A game all the time and everything. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But if we aren't giving to ourselves first, we are not going to be able to give to others in a way that allows for expansion. You know, pouring, we've heard it a million times, pouring from an empty cup. Who does that serve? What good is that? And we have to, and I'm speaking to myself, we have to give ourselves permission to be the receivers. We're so good at being the givers. We're so good at doing and showing up, and, you know, but we also have to start giving ourselves permission to be the receivers.
Yes. And
so Trisha, I'll say one more thing really quick about that. Trisha Hersey of the NAP ministry, if y'all aren't following the NAP ministry,
yeah, I'm following, yeah.
You know, get on that. The NAP ministry for her was what I believe similar to my, like, okay, with all of the stuff that was going on, you know, what can I do? She also was going to, you know, divinity school. She also, at the time, you know, all of these different things are happening to the Black community. She also was trying to navigate and figure out how can I, you know, subvert all that is being asked of me and from me and connect back to giving my ancestor, to connect back to my ancestors and connect back to giving my ancestors that which was taken from them and rest. So, you know, she started speaking to rest as resistance, started speaking to, you know, rest as healing portal, back to yourself, back to the divine, all of this stuff. So her stuff and the NAP ministry stuff is amazing. And it, you know, speaks specifically to the Black women and femme experience.
Mm-hmm. And listeners, if you want to find out more about that, you can go on Twitter. She has an IG account too, NAP Ministries. Is it ministry? Yeah, I think it's ministry, right?
It's the NAP ministry, yeah.
Yeah, the information is out there, and I really believe that we're living in a time where Black people can be and show up, and not as opposed to what the white world are telling us we are or not, is give what we have. And sometimes we don't know what to give because we get busy debating, arguing, and chattering and keep moving. And maybe the key is to just stop and rest so that we can receive. And one of the best gifts I've found with myself and others is sometimes giving what you want, giving what you need. Like, I want to be seen. I want to be heard. Get a few of your friends together and just create that space. And because some of the people that we're following today on social media, who's writing a book or have a YouTube channel, they just decide to do it one day. Mm-hmm. But there's this narrative I feel like we can't, just all kind of narratives that we just got to let go of. And in resting, we can receive what we need to do. So you get something as simple as follow what gives you joy, follow your bliss, rest to receive. You have to rest and stop in order to receive. Even though we get what we receive might sound like, what? Mm-hmm. There's so much power in simplicity. And the other thing is, it's like resting does allow us to connect to our inner guide. And when we can tap into that voice, we can have our own download. Oh, we don't have to get caught up in all the BS that's going on in the world.
Right.
You know, because it's like, what do I need to know about this? I mean, I know what I went through at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was like, okay, I feel like I'm being really going to school about what do you really believe? So if I'm being afraid, then I get to see, some of the things that you think you believe in, you kind of shaky on it. Okay, where do I need to tweak? What do I need to tweak? What do I need to fine tune? And we've done a lot of talking about resting and receiving telling people Google it. But you're here, you're a yoga teacher, you're a meditation teacher. I think it just makes sense to kind of release the show with a resting resting exercise. So you will
I would love to lead just a little mini meditation here.
So maybe this is a place where I can tell the audience, if you fall asleep and don't wake up and the show ended, it's okay. All right, it's going to be archived. So if you're driving, just take deep breaths.
Keep your eyes open.
Yes. And if you keep your eyes closed, then it may not matter because you'll be in a different realm. You'll be like, what just happened? I thought I was on my way to work. But the sensible thing to say is, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. I don't know what to tell people that.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we tell people? Don't close your eyes when you're driving.
Don't lift heavy machinery, I think they say. Like,
yeah, exactly. Right. Yes.
Meditating.
So, we're ready. I'm ready. You ready?
Yes, I am. Maybe let's start by doing a couple extended exhale breaths. Just
drink some water.
Get us in a right state. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite us to, if you're seated, lengthen the spine, bringing the shoulders back down and away from the ears, bringing the belly in towards the midline, maybe lifting the crown of the head up, tucking the chin slightly to elongate the back of the neck. And if you're sitting, maybe you have your palms of the hands on your lap facing up, if in this moment you really just need to receive, or if you're feeling in this moment that you really just need to ground down to feel rooted, then maybe placing the palms of the hands down on your lap. To ground down, to ground in, feet flat on the ground. And for some of you, maybe you're like, Mackenzie, I do not want to be seated. I'm just going to lie down. Do that. Go ahead and lie flat down, resting the back of the head, shoulders, glutes, calves, ankles on the floor or on the couch, whatever you're lying down on. And just take a moment, maybe bringing the eyes to a soft gaze down the bridge of the nose, or perhaps closing the eyes all the way. And breathing in through the nose for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding it at the top. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out, release it all, let it all go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, breathing in through the nose, allowing that belly to expand, chest and heart to open for 2, 3, 4. Holding it at the top. And open mouth, exhale, sigh it out, release it all for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once more, breathing in through the nose, taking the deepest inhale you've taken all day for 2, 2, 3, 4. Holding. Maybe seeing if you can sip in any more air. And open mouth, exhale, release it all, let it all go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This time without manipulating the breath, without altering it, just breathing in through the nose and breathing out. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out. And just begin to notice, become aware, become the witness Notice if your breath feels heavy or labored. Maybe notice if you feel out of breath or if it's hard to breathe. Without judging, just notice. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. This time, follow the inhale of the breath through the nose. This goes through the nose, down the throat, through the heart center, to the lungs, spreading out to the body to give it fresh oxygen, fresh energy. And then notice once the body receives what it needs, that breath working its way back up through lungs, heart, chest center, throat, and out the nose or mouth. Following again once more the breath in through the nose. And then following the breath back out through the nose or mouth. Breathing in and breathing out. And on your next inhale, give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to relax, to release and let go. We'll start at the crown of the head, relaxing the body, relaxing the muscles as we breathe in and breathe out. So starting with the crown of the head, begin to relax. Relax the crown of the head, soften the forehead, the eyebrows, eyelids, eyelashes, eyeballs. Relaxing the space between the brows, right temple and left temple, relax. Breathing in and breathing out. Relaxing the bridge of the nose, right nostril, left nostril. Relaxing the muscles in the cheeks, even relaxing the cheekbones. Upper lip, lower lip, top teeth, bottom teeth, and relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Breathing in and breathing out. Rest and relax, relaxing the chin, the jaw, the throat. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And for those of you that carry your stress and tension in your shoulders, maybe see, think, believe, imagine, or feel that weight is being lifted off on the next inhale. And that the shoulders feel lighter on the exhale. Relaxing the upper back, middle, lower back, and relaxing the tailbone, spinal cord, from tailbone all the way up to midbrain, and midbrain back down to the tailbone. Relax. Moving to the front of the body, relaxing the collarbone, the chest, and maybe some of you have been feeling that stress, that weight, that heaviness on your chest. So maybe see, think, believe, imagine, or feel just for the next breath that as you breathe in, that weight is being lifted, and as you breathe out, there's more room, more air. The chest feels lighter. Breathing in and breathing out. Relax. Relaxing the stomach, The organs in the stomach area, relaxing your hips, sits bones, glutes, thighs, knees, shins, ankles, soles of the feet, top of the feet, and relax the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Breathing in, breathing out. If the shoulders have creeped up again, relax them back down away from the ears, relaxing the biceps, triceps, elbow, forearm and wrist, palm of the hands, back of the hands, and relax the thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Breathing in and breathing out. Giving yourself permission to rest. Giving yourself permission to relax. Giving yourself permission to just be. And perhaps on your next inhale, placing your hand on your heart center, connecting first to the heartbeat, connecting to the way that the heart pumps blood, pumps life, pumps energy throughout the body. Connecting to the heart. And giving ourselves permission to listen to the heart, to soften, to go inward. And perhaps asking the question as you breathe in this moment, what am I being invited to release? And as you breathe out, in this moment, what am I being invited to receive? Perhaps there's a word, a phrase, feeling, or emotion that comes up. Asking again as you breathe in this moment, what am I being invited to release? And breathing out, in this moment, what am I being invited to receive? Doing that 2 more times on your own. And once you've received whatever the message is that your inner guide is inviting you to release and receive in this moment, simply responding back, thank you, I receive. So breathing in thank you, breathing out, I receive. Breathing in thank you, breathing out, I receive, and sealing this moment, this gift, this wisdom, this rest. With another inhale through the nose. Exhale, open mouth, sigh it out, release it all, let it all go. Once more, deep breath, inhale through the nose. Open mouth, exhale, sigh it out, release it, let it all go. Remembering that you are worthy of rest, that you are worthy of ease, that you are worthy of peace, of joy, that you are worthy of love, of showing up just as you are. Remember that you are worthy for simply being you. That rest is your birthright. That ease belongs to all of us. And that there are different avenues where you can tap into your own pockets of peace, that they're available for you. Remembering that you have permission to let go and just be, and that you too can rest to receive. One final inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it all out. With eyes still closed, maybe wiggling the toes, fingers, stretching the neck, maybe even stretching the arms out or overhead, perhaps doing a nice twist to the side, moving energy back throughout the body. And when you're ready, blinking your eyes open, coming back to the room, back to the space, and back to this present moment.
That's it. Ooh. I had a thought earlier. I said, I wish you'd have done this early in the conversation. But while we started doing it, I'm like, no, this is the perfect time to do it. Because I'm fulfilled.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Like, just take the whole body through this rest process. At one point, I'm like, hey, I can't fall asleep. I got to stay present, but then I surrendered. Like, you know, you're going to wake up. Because when I meditate, I go deep, especially when it's guided meditation, because then I just give up trying to think. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mackenzie. There's so much that I had that I want to talk to you about, but you're definitely going to be coming back. I love the space you come from. I love where you come from, what you're rooted in. It's real, it's authentic. And we need more of that. And that heart-centered spirituality, that's one of the gifts of being Black that we bring to this thing called spirituality. The intellect is needed, but we got to integrate it. It's all here.
Yes. The embodiment. Yes. The embodiment of all of it.
Indeed. Before we release you, is there anything else you want to share with our audience? We're definitely going to have you back. And anything you want to share, whatever. Shameless plug, what kind of plug? You just have at it.
I just want to say thank you for the invitation to come and to hold some sacred space.
Yes.
So important, so special, so needed. Thank you for the invitation to speak on how imperative it is for us to connect back to ourselves, to connect back to, our breath, our body, truth, our remembering of who we are, because it is in that state that we're able to live and move and operate, especially as Black folk in a world that was not meant for us. So thank you. And I would invite those of you that received something, during that rest ritual, for those of you that maybe there was a word, like I said, a phrase or a feeling or emotion that you're being invited to release, or that you're being invited to receive, maybe take a moment after this and write it down. Write it down as something that you can come back to and remember and connect to, and just continue to find ways and avenues to rest and to release, because it's the only way that we're going to get through, get through all of this.
Get through it and create a new reality. It's being created anyway. And it's a good point that you're reminding people to journal, to write something down. And also for people who can't write right now, like, I don't have anything to write. I remember, no, you won't. get your record on your phone and record what you received, what you're being guided to release, because to release and receive. Because what I know is, like, in moments of meditation, we receive something so clear. Then when we start thinking about it, it's like, oh, I don't know how that's going to happen. Or we forget, like a dream. You know, when you first wake up, you know you have a dream. You had the dream, and you can tell people. If you don't write it or talk about it, a few minutes later, you're like, I remember. So write it down, record it, come back to it, listen to the show again. You can fast forward to this point. This is Women's History Month. Give this to yourself.
Yeah.
Give this to yourself. And so this is a way to give to you what society doesn't want to give to you, because there is power in women. There's power in the feminine energy. There's power, the power that comes from within that Black women carry. Yeah. And so it is important to honor that, to acknowledge that. My dear sister, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you. Yes, for those of you that want to follow me, as it's been previously mentioned, you can follow me on Instagram at Mackenzie. And then my link tree as well will list all my upcoming classes and workshops and series, as well as a link to work with me on private sessions and small group sessions as well. So thank you.
You're welcome, my dear sister, and look forward to having you back.
I look forward to coming back.
All right. Peace and blessings.
All right. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Life is good. It's getting better. You can find Mackenzie on Instagram, and she said Mackenzie. No, Mackenzie. So it's MACKENZ or Z _E. So you find it there. And the same handle with Linktree /Mackenzie _E. Whew. You know, when you rest, your mind chills the flip out. You don't have a lot to say. So yes, thank you. And yes, I had another opportunity to go through that process, and I told you I was going deeper than I did when we pre-recorded the show. My head was doing what it was doing. I was like, hey, get back up. I hope you had an opportunity to just tune in, even if it wasn't for the whole time, because sometimes all you need is just a minute to stop, to come back to yourself. A minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to come back to yourself. And we all need to create space for ourselves, to just honor who we are. You know, we're told and reminded that the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the holy breath, the universal breath. Okay, something else is going on here. We're good? Okay. Yeah, the holy breath. Come back to yourself. We're getting ready to release the show. Thank you for being here. If you want to deepen your aha moment, the insights that came up for you, check out my website, lifecoachade.com, lifecoachade.com. We're going to continue to celebrate and honor women through this month. So the guests that are coming this month, it's all geared towards highlighting the feminine in women, because we belong. And if you missed the show that we did last week with Rev D talking about divine feminine, I strongly encourage you to check it out. We got some shows coming up in April, a lot going on. So anyway, I think it's time to release the show. I'm really calm. I'm really chillaxed. It's like, what else do I say? I don't know. I just want to go lay down. Well, I can't do that right now. Maybe later on. I got a webinar that I'm doing right after this in about 15 minutes. Leslie, thank you for everything, for all you're doing behind the scenes. Thank you, listeners, Kwali, Pat, Tina, New Jace. If I missed your name, Deanna, thank you all for being there. Those of you who are what we call the silent listeners, thank you, thank you. Silent listeners and silent watchers. Thank you, thank you. I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you. And I thank God for you. Make sure you join myself, Ricky Byers, and I on tomorrow, if you're in America, tomorrow, if you're in America, 6 p.m. Eastern. I feel like I just came out of a deep meditation. I'm like, so like I just woke up to do the show. Like, so join Ricky Byers and I tomorrow at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. East Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and that's 2 a.m. UK time GMT. And those of you in America, don't forget, at the end of this week, coming this Saturday, you're going to have to spring forward with your time. And then in UK, we're going to spring forward in two weeks later. It's time to release the show. I invite you to take the consciousness, everything that you received here, and multiply it. We'll see you next week. Or you can just join us tomorrow, Ricky Byers and myself, for Soul Fulfilling. Peace and blessings.